Welcome to Grit with Wisdom. This is the podcast that delves deep into the inner psyche of mountain bikers from all aspects of our sport in order to discover the tools and the tactics that can help us have more fun out on the trails more often. Our aim here is to help you understand what it takes to push our own personal boundaries in the sport we love from a mental and emotional perspective. Today on the show, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Yoann Barelli.
Thank you.
For most of you listening, this guy probably doesn't need much of an intro. As you already know, he is a professional mountain biker and CEO of Good Times. For those of you that aren't familiar, Yoann grew up riding bikes in Nice in the south of France.
Yeah.
And I believe has been racing since a tender age of about 7 years old.
That was a long time ago.
There we go.
1993, my first race. And it was a cross-country race.
Fantastic, dude. So from there, you went on to have numerous successes, including becoming the French elite downhill champion in 2004, and then multiple podium finishes in the Enduro World Series after that. Over the past few years, we've seen Yoann pivot towards more of a free riding style, getting creative, and of course, having loads of fun. He shares his incredible passion and energy through his coaching business and brand Into the Gnar, which we've got some exciting news for you on today. This was launched back in 2020. It's absolutely blown up since. Right, Yoann, that's enough from me for now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
Thank you for an incredible ride. We just went out and rode Green Monster in your backyard here in Whistler.
Exactly. We rode Green Monster. The funny story with Green Monster is that when I moved to Whistler in 2014, Green Monster was probably one of the gnarliest trails I've ever ridden in my life.
Yeah.
And then now it's actually becoming quite chill.
Isn't that incredible?
And it's becoming chill for so many people. Like the level it keeps on going up. It's kind of crazy. The level in the sea to sky is insane, and really the level in the world is really it's going up. Huh? It's insane. The bikes are becoming more and more capable. But anyway, so Green Monster was like gnarliest trail when I moved here, and then it was actually the second episode of my Into the Gnar series that I started in 2019. And I haven't ridden Green Monster in like maybe 2-3 years. So today was my first time in 2-3 years with you, and it was your first time today.
It was.
And it was beautiful. Such a cool trail.
Yeah, and it was so cool to spend a little bit more time riding with you and kind of soaking up your process. For those that haven't already watched it, I really recommend after this, go and watch the video of Yoann and I riding Green Monster, and you'll get to see maybe a little bit more of a look into Yoann's process, into his thinking. You're assessing the new Green Monster 2.0.
Exactly.
Off to the side of the trail, which looks like a cliff to me.
Exactly. It was kind of funny because we stopped right here and I looked to the right, I saw this rock and I was like, oh, I wonder if we can actually ride on that. And it looked like someone maybe has ridden it, which I think if someone knows, there is a line on Green Monster, actually before the Green Monster, there's a line on the right, it's a rock. So if you know someone who's ridden that before, let us know because we are curious. Anyways, I was looking at this thing, I didn't end up doing it. And then that's something we can talk about in a little bit.
Totally, yeah, definitely want to get into that risk assessment piece later on.
Exactly.
Before we do that, I'm itching because I know you've got some big news for us today. What's new for you?
So what's new for me? Big change with sponsorship and brands. I just signed with DaVinci. The GG piece, it's too bad. Like it was such an amazing relationship that I had with GG, like such a cool brand. And I think like really like a passion project that I started 10 years ago. And then unfortunately, like I'm not allowed to go too much into the details with GG, but like the relationship ended for some reasons. And but anyways, bounced with DaVinci, which is amazing. They are really aligned with all the things that I've been trying to do, like working more with local brands. And DaVinci makes 70 to 80% of their full fleet now in Quebec. So, and that's also another component with DaVinci that's amazing, is that I'm going to be linked with my roots. And I'm going to be able to speak French again.
The French
so pour la France, c'est reparti, c'est bon ça.
I'm going to need Google Translate for that part. Dude, fantastic. Congratulations on the new partnership. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Super pumped. They have all the bikes. I'm riding now the chainsaw
Yeah,
in
tell us about the chainsaw.
29 version right now. It's just behind us. 170 millimeter travel front and rear, and the bike is a beast. It's like a really capable freeride bike. So it's definitely not the most efficient climber, I would say. But for someone who wants to send it and ride burly lines and wants to still pedal around, this is a really cool bike made in Quebec and pretty affordable, which is super cool.
Ah, that's fantastic. And how did you find the transition, changing bikes in a big way? You've got a high chainstay bike now. Did you have to dial things back a little bit and get used to it, or did you just go
No. It took me quite a bit. I'm just starting to kind of feel good now, and it's been when are we? We are recording this. We are early September, mid-September almost, and then I rode my first chainsaw during Crankworks.
Yeah, well.
And they gave me a size medium at first.
Okay.
Because I was kind of swapping in between size 4 and size 3 GG. And for some stuff, I was more comfortable on the size 3. For example, racing enduro, like I raced the Crankworks enduro on the size 3, and I did Tour de Gnar on the size 4.
Right. Okay.
Same bike, but different size.
Yep.
So for different things, I like a different size, different riding, different size. So at first, the medium felt a bit kind of short, and then now with the large, it's a 495 reach, so it's a long bike.
Yep.
But super slack. It's like 62.9 degree head angle. This thing.
So
it brings back the cockpit a little bit closer, and like the size large right now feels like I'm really starting to feel at home.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Awesome, man. So do you think you'll stick with just the size large, ride that for everything this season, or
no. So the deal with the Vinci is to ride all the bikes. So I'm gonna get an e-bike, I'm gonna get a Troy, I'm gonna get the Spartan as well.
Right.
So I'm gonna get all the bikes. I'm super excited about the e-bike.
I'm not jealous.
E-bikes are pretty amazing. And then if you are like I have a big family, we have 4 kids. And sometimes my windows to rides are pretty short, and with an e-bike I can go like boom, 2 hours, 1 hour, and then I do a big lap, and yoop-de-loop.
They're definitely a cool tool, aren't they? And I think more and more people in the mountain bike world are coming on board with like, hey, an e-bike could be a really cool bike.
Exactly,
as well as a regular bike.
Exactly. Like for me, like it's definitely not going to become the only bike I'm going to ride, but like for spring when the snow is starting to melt here in Whistler. Just going with a little chainsaw in your backpack, climb up the trails, cut some trees, like clear up some stuff, like little trail building and stuff. The e-bike is definitely the tool.
We're going to talk about mindset in just a second, but before we do that, is there going to be an Into the Gnar Gnar?
Oh, Gnar. I actually had a few clients who showed up with e-bikes, and it's the same techniques. Huh? It's exactly the same.
I'd love to see you
stuff,
sending stuff on an e-bike.
But I did to send stuff on the e-bike. I did the train gap with an e-bike when I was at Commensal.
There we go.
It was the first e-bike actually that they made, and the engine was not really powerful. So I was like over when I was sprinting to take the speed.
Right.
Like I was like, how do you say?
You really
over. But no, but I was basically going over the engine.
Right. Okay.
So basically, I was like sprinting with a really heavy e-bike.
Yeah.
But the engine was not helping me anymore. Oh. Like you're producing more power than the engine does.
Yeah.
So in the sprint, I was like boosting over the engine, sprinting on a big bike, and I just like barely made it. Remy Métayer was there.
That was terrifying.
And he was like, Yoann, you have the speed. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And he was like, yes, send it. And I just went, and I just like barely made the train gap on the e-bike.
That's an amazing story.
So anyways, they are pretty capable.
I love it.
And that was a long time ago.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do on the DXG bike.
It's going to be good.
Man, you're obviously incredibly passionate about mountain biking, all aspects of it. You love it. I'd love to ask you here, like, what is your why when we dig down into it? What is your why when it comes to mountain biking?
Why do I ride?
Yeah.
Because I think for me, it's the most fun thing that I can do. And like it really goes back to when I was a little kid, and I started to ride when I was like 5, 6 years old. And my brother was, like we were just like kids biking around. And then one day with my brother, we were in our yard in the south of France, in Paye. So I grew up in the same street as Yoann Barelli, Nicolas Vouilloz. So for some people that are a little bit older, they're gonna know these names, like multiple times world champion in downhill. And then one day we were playing in the yard with my brother, and we had a little trail going by, and then there was a cross country race who just passed in front of us, and we looked at each other and we're like, oh, that's cool. And then we asked our parents what was that, and then they signed us up for the our first race. My brother won, and then I won.
Wow.
Like a little kid. I still remember the shifting wasn't working. It was actually the shifting on top of the handlebar, like
right. Yeah.
like
the index shifted.
Yeah, it was the index shifting, fully rigid. And then from there, it was just like so much fun. Like we grew up and we were just a bunch of kids like playing around and building jumps, and so many kids in the same like villages around us, just getting together. And it was just like a pure, it became a true passion for me. And then all the time like bringing a lot of joy. And it took me a long time to become pro. It took me 20 years actually, because I started biking in 1993. That's when I did my first race, and I became pro in 2013.
Yeah, so 20 years.
20 years just like
racing, riding, training, doing the work. I wanted to ask, like, what keeps you passionate and motivated these days, and what kept you passionate and motivated then to keep on pushing towards this goal?
The beauty of this sport is that for me, it keeps me. It's always it keeps me fresh. It keeps it interesting in a way that the bikes are really evolving. They are really they've changed so much since 1993 till 2023 right now.
Totally.
It's insane, huh? 30 years of biking, and then so the things that we were able to do back in the days compared to now are completely different as well. And then I've been through like racing cross country to like racing some kind of like gymkhanas. When we were kids, we were doing like trials downhill cross country in the same day.
Wow, that sounds fantastic.
So we were like just doing so many things, and then I switched to downhill mainly, and then I went to enduro, and then after enduro I started the coaching. But at the same time as the coaching, now I'm doing more free riding, and I'm still racing a little bit here and there. So it's always kind of keeping me interested, and really like discovering new things.
Totally.
Which is super cool.
It's so cool to hear, and it's been so cool to follow along and watch over the years too, all of these different kind of career shifts, and you're always excited about something.
Definitely.
Always laughing. I don't know. I wanted to ask here, like, how do you use humor as somewhat of a tool on the bike to keep you in the right headspace?
But there's no need to take yourself too seriously in a way, like, so you keep it fun. Like you don't need to be too serious about things. About things. At some point, things become serious. Like today, like when we looked at this line and stuff, like things became a bit more okay. Like now we need to be focused. I did a bit of breath work at the start and everything. Totally. But humor, and when I said, you know what, I'm not doing it, I kind of took it in a joking way. Like it's not the end of the world. Let's just move on. Let's chill. It's
So you're using it
I don't know if I
way.
really answered your question.
No, that makes sense. Kind of using it as a way to kind of snap in and out of those focused, serious periods.
Exactly. And I think that's more who I am. Huh? I'm more like a kind of I like a good joke.
Totally, man. And we were kind of chatting on the ride there on our pedal up about how some of this humor has perhaps helped your career along the way too, with some of the YouTube videos and stuff like this.
And that I think comes back to even when I became pro. A lot of people, when there's all of a sudden, boom, you're getting paid and everything, it becomes a job and you have to be serious and everything. But for me, it's like, I'm a mountain biker. I ride my bike in the forest. Like I do the same thing that I was doing when I was a little kid.
Totally.
So there's like, I'm not a surgeon, I'm not saving lives here. So it's just...
No, and I think, it's a great way of representing mountain biking because it's meant to be fun.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun sport. And then when I start actually a coaching session, I ask people, why do you bike? And then the majority of the people, I'm going to say 90 to 95%, they're going to say, it can be different reasons, but they are always going to say, it's because it's super fun.
Totally.
It's damn fun.
Yeah.
You go down the trail and then it makes you smile. Like it's so cool.
Totally love that.
And then the better you ride and the better you kind of create that flow on the trail and the better it feels and the more you finish your ride and you're like, fuck yeah, that was good.
Sure was. Just like our ride
Yeah,
today.
exactly.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
So I wanted to dive in a little bit here and talk about the mental side of your riding.
Mhm.
In particular, I'd love to talk here about the processes that you use and some of the tools you use when you're assessing a new feature for the first time, or perhaps doing something you're a little bit nervous about.
Mhm. The It's basically, as you say, like looking at a new line. It's a process. It's like the way you can, to simplify things, you should see it as a puzzle. And then at first, when you're going to show up on a line, a new line, it's going to be like this kind of like pieces everywhere. You don't really see things properly, and you just have to go through that process of like analyzing the line. And then the way I do it, I use my like knowledge and tools that I've developed with coaching, actually.
Totally.
Like, how do I actually look at a line? What's the process? And first, I'm going to focus of like, where am I looking? Where are my kind of visual points? From here, I'm going to look here. Once I'm here, I'm going to look there. Once I'm there, I'm going to look over there. What kind of speed does the feature require? What's the speed at the entry? What's the speed during the move? What's the speed at the exit? And what's the move that I'm going to have to do with my body? As soon as I start to understand that, the pieces of the puzzle starts to become boom, boom, boom. You start to have a clear picture. And then there's the moment that everything makes sense, and then you get to your bike. And that's when things become real. That's like, okay, now you have to do a little process with yourself, a little check-in. First you were thinking about the line, now you have to do a little check-in with yourself. Are you tired? Are you focused? Do you see the line clearly? Do you understand it? And then if as I go through that little checklist, I'm getting a bunch of no, then it's a no-go.
Yep.
Ego, there's no place for the ego at some point. Like when you're gonna crash on like a feature on a double black trail and beyond, like now there's so many double black and beyond. There's actually there's pro line, but like what's a qualification for what's after that?
It's a big category, isn't it?
Exactly. And once you do this kind of stuff, if you crash, you are going to hurt yourself. There's no way around it. There's no way around it.
Dude, there's so much I want to dive into there. Such a grounded process.
Exactly. And so so today, when I was up there, I was looking at this thing. Very technical move. Like kind of, we looked at it. It was like more than 75 degrees steep, with a pretty technical transition at the top. Mossy. Traction was a bit kind of, we didn't really know. It was a bit sketchy. Yeah. And a very sharp move at the entry, very steep, to no run out. Basically, It was no run out. And so when I went to my little kind of checklist at the top, I was like, you know what? I'm actually not really seeing the move at the top right now. And the traction is a bit so-so. I couldn't really have my focus dialed at the top. You see, I was kind of like blinking my eyes a little bit. I was like, it's kind of weird. And so for me, that's a no-go. If I go over the bars or something like that on a line like that, I'm going to get hurt.
Totally, yeah.
So there's no point.
It's obviously a process you've honed in and perfected over all these years of experience. You mentioned right at the start there that perhaps the coaching has added to that process for your own riding as well.
For sure.
How has it changed since you've started coaching?
I think that my level of riding has completely improved since I started coaching, basically. Yeah? Because it's been biking for me was such a sport that I did naturally. And the only thing that I've really worked on when I was training was really my physical aspect of things, like training, going to the gym and doing interval trainings, and like really being the fittest that I could be. But back in the days, we've never really done a lot of work like on the technical aspects, on like how do you actually ride.
Right.
Looking at this kind of stuff, we never really done that. So when I started coaching, I actually was teaching techniques, and I had to execute these techniques in front of people. So my riding really, I started to put words on like actions and stuff. And the more I was saying things, and the more I was actually watching myself, because people were feeling me and watching stuff, and I was like, actually, I'm not necessarily doing what I'm saying right now.
Right.
And then slowly, step by step, I started to really execute better and better and better, and my technical level has completely improved. Like I'm doing stuff these days that I would never imagine 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Never.
Isn't it amazing that process of teaching riders that are not necessarily at a
Exactly.
level that they're able to challenge you
Exactly.
still helps your riding
Exactly.
improve? Yeah.
And then this summer, when we started the summer, the coaching season, I always sometimes saying to my clients, if you see something today that you want me to do, just don't hesitate and tell me. And then just like to basically as a training for Tour de Gnar,
Yep.
to snap into that focus mode,
Right.
just on demand. And it was such a good exercise that I've done many times where people are like, do you think someone will ride this line in these conditions today? And I will be like, is it a challenge?
You want to do that?
And I've done that a few times where I'm like, you know what? I can completely do that. I'm gonna go through the process and I will show people how I go through my process.
Right.
And if I feel it, I'm like, she goes, let's go, boom, and then I will completely do it.
I love it, dude. So you're talking about this like snap, get into the zone.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people listening would love to get into their zone more often.
But it's and
What
to
do
go.
you do? So I'm like, okay, Yoann, you want to ride this? I'd love to see you ride this.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Okay.
What do you do?
But if then I will exactly go through the same process that I described earlier. I will go through my process of like looking at the line, analyzing it with like what kind of speed, what's the move, and then if it's something that I've done before, then I just simply have to remember exactly what I've been doing, like kind of the moves, like they are in you. Huh?
Well, you mentioned today that the feature we were looking at was very similar to another one you've done in Squamish.
Very similar than the rock to rock drop in the Gouranga line in Squamish. If you don't rock to rock, you can actually ride the steep shoot. Very similar, but the entry different, completely different, and the conditions very different.
Sure.
The move itself, steepness, length, and everything, totally similar. So right here I was kind of, but there was a few elements that I was not really seeing, and then boom,
yeah,
no go.
Dude, really wise. And when you talk about seeing yourself riding a line, I know from speaking to lots of different riders on this podcast, sometimes it differs. How do you see yourself? Is it in that kind of third person bird's eye view, or are you looking through your own eyes when you're visualizing it?
Before I drop in, I'm gonna simply go to my process and I'm gonna speak it out loud sometimes. Let's for example do the rock roll on Wesso. You see when we start at the tree and you are on that spine rock, there's that little step and then you ride that rock half camber on Wesso.
Yeah.
The process on this thing is that I put my handlebar on the tree, I'm gonna stand up nice and tall, and then I'm going walking speed all the way to that little step, engage my shoulders, push down, accelerate to jogging speed, ride on the tree rocks, look down, engage my shoulders, push down in the compression, exit. If my process clicks in and then I exactly see the steps and they already click like that, it's go time.
So you see that almost playing out like a movie?
Exactly.
Fantastic.
I exactly know, and then it becomes really part of you. So sometimes that process is going to take you one try, like you know, like you watch it and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, tung 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 tung. Sometimes that process is going to take a bit longer, like it's going to take a bit more time, and maybe a bit some movement on the line. You might prepare it, change it a little bit, make it a bit better, and then that's still part of your process. And sometimes it's going to require a few run-in. I'm going to run in, and then you approach it on your bike, you approach, you place yourself, okay, I'm going to go back up, another run-in, and that's part of the process. If you need to do 10 run-in, do 10 run-in. If you watch Rampage, the practice is the most scary thing that I've ever witnessed in my life, to watch the Rampage athletes going through their process to do their monstrous lines for the first time in the desert. And sometimes it's going to take like 30 run-in for them. But the things are so huge. That's exactly what they are doing, and they are doing exactly the same thing. They really like go through that process, and then until they see themselves perfectly executing the thing, and you even like feel it at some point. Huh? You're like, that's the move. Like you can mimic the move, and once you are in this kind of state, everything kind of clicks. It's go time, and then most of the time it works. Huh?
Yeah, totally. Most of the time it works. I love it. So talking there, like, doing multiple run-ins, 10 run-ins, 30 run-ins, you know, a lot of mountain bikers will have an issue with, say, staring at a feature for too long or doing too many run-ins.
Yes.
Do you have any kind of rule, any limit you'll give yourself?
Not necessarily. I think that one mistake that people do is that sometimes they are going to need some run-in. They go through their process of looking at the line and everything. They go to the bike, and then they are going to go as if they are going to do the line. But in fact, they actually need a run-in, and they know it, but they don't exactly know how to express it.
Right.
So they go, and then they kind of, at the end, they're like, they put a foot down before dropping in, and then they get frustrated. And they're like, okay, I'm going to go back up. And then they just like go to the top and then go back in without taking the time to like reset, refresh, go through the process again, and then they go again, stumble at the top, put a foot down, get more frustrated, go back to, and the frustration kind of goes up, and that's the best recipe for a disaster.
Yeah, I see that in myself. I've seen that in many riders.
So do acknowledge that you're going to need some running, and it's part of the process. And then you even say it, I'm going to do a run-in, boom, go back up. I'm going to do another run-in, and it depends. Like if you are riding and you're just doing like a few lines, which I do sometimes. I go with Nate and Ryder and Steve and Remy, and we are really going to focus on a few lines, and we're going to try to challenge ourselves. And in this kind of scenario, you can spend a lot of time, and there's no rush. But if you are in the middle of a ride with a bunch of riders, and then you have to do many tries after, like you do 2 run-in, if you don't have it, let's move on.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're being really intentional there about the commitment piece. You're either calling it a run-in, or you're saying, I'm gonna do this, I'm committing here.
Exactly.
Rather than this kind of half, maybe 90% commitment where we're like, we'll see how it goes, and then stopping, opening the door for frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I love that.
I think, and that's just the more you're going to expose yourself to this kind of stuff, the more you're going to expose yourself to pushing the limit a little bit and being scared. The more you're going to develop techniques. Like I do that every day.
Hello everyone, and thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to give it a like, give it a subscribe. And if you'd like to know more about my journey in mountain biking and my background as a mountain bike coach, check out episode number 29, where I dive a little bit deeper into that. Now let's get right back to the podcast. Fantastic. So another thing you mentioned earlier was breath work. You did a little bit of breath work on the rock when you were going through your process on our ride today. Tell us about your specific type of breath work.
Breath work is giving me shivers. Breath work is powerful.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
It's really powerful. Breath work is something that I kind of discovered in like 2020, and it helped me go through a bunch of things in my life, and it was such an amazing kind of teacher in a way. I've learned so much through that about myself, about others, like so many things. And it's a super useful tool that you can use whenever. Like we actually don't really know how to breathe in general. Like we don't really pay attention to our breath. Most of the time we breathe through our mouth instead of through our nose, which is kind of crazy. We should breathe through our nose. But anyways, with the breath, you can rise up your energy, or you can lower your energy in really quickly. Yeah. And so for something like that today, at the top, like I felt like I needed more clarity in my brain because I couldn't really see the line. So I was like, maybe if I do some really energetic breath, the energy is gonna rise up. My clarity is my brain is gonna be more clear. I'm gonna see the thing a bit better. And then that's what I will do also for the start of a race. Like just before a race, before a stage, I will do some really strong breath.
Right.
And then your energy, boom, really rise up. And then the opposite, if you want your energy, like calm yourself down, calm your nervous system. Close your eyes. And that's also a really good way to ground yourself as well. And then now I can talk through my process as well. So sometimes that's what I say to my clients before they do a line. Do a few deep breaths to calm yourself. And then when you are centered, go through your process.
Totally.
Talk it out loud.
Yeah, it's a great way of getting the mind back to the present, isn't it? I know so often we're perhaps thinking about things that happened in the past, or we're imagining what could go wrong in the future.
You bring yourself back to the present. Now I'm here. This is what I'm doing.
That's fantastic. I can definitely relate. I use breath work in
It's
exactly
amazing,
the
yeah.
same ways
It's
you
amazing.
mentioned there. And I know, even thinking back, we did a bunch of coaching together at the start
Yeah.
of the season in the spring. You were coaching me. You were really challenging me, taking me to some lines that I've
Yeah.
never even thought of riding before.
We did some cool stuff, and the last session we did,
Man,
we really pushed it.
really pushed it. That's stuff that still kind of scares me.
Yeah, yeah.
But quite often there, you know, had a good night's sleep. I'd had my morning coffee. I was feeling good.
Yeah.
Getting there, lots of energy. But when we get to these lines and I'd start feeling quite challenged, quite nervous, all of a sudden I'd start yawning.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I just feel kind of tired.
Stress.
It's interesting, isn't it, how the body reacts?
Fear, stress, you kind
My
of.
body was trying to keep me safe by telling me to go back to bed.
It shuts you down, huh? It shuts
Yeah.
you down, and it's like sending you a bunch of red flags. Be careful, you're in danger. But you can completely control that. You
Well, in that
shift it,
case,
yeah?
yeah, I kind of used breath work to shift myself back
Yeah.
to the present and think
Exactly.
logically, okay, Jake, maybe I can do this. I
Yeah.
do have the tools, I do have the skills to do this. And we worked through it and did
Mhm.
it. So that was a really cool
To
experience.
go at some point, and that's, I think, a really, like, I don't know the science behind that, why when we get scared, our body probably kind of shuts down, huh? And the energy really, I do the same. Huh? Sometimes I start yawning before a race, I'm scared. And then, but then it's crazy that by simply doing some really powerful breath, you can really rise up the energy, and that's what you need. Before doing an early line or an event, your energy needs to rise up. You don't have to be like, whoa, let's go. You don't have to be like that. But you can simply like center yourself, rise up the energy. You're in the present. You really want it. You're good. And that's something that we definitely, yeah.
There's that kind of perfect in between, isn't there? And I think often we'll refer to it as like the flow state where we're alert enough to be really focused in the present, but we're not so alert that we become maybe anxious or our brain's overactive. Do you ever experience that on the trail, like feeling anxious, fearful, overthinking things?
By today, like for example, up here, when I was doing it before dropping the thing, like definitely it's a scary move. And then I think the fear is never gonna leave. Like we're always gonna be scared at some point riding our bikes, huh? But it's like, what do you do with that fear? Are you gonna let it take over, and then that's it, or can you transform it into something positive?
Totally. Yeah.
And it's never leaving me. Huh? Like sometimes and a lot of the time when I do some gnarly lines, I'm at the top. I get like really sweaty palms. And that's, I know that I'm in the zone.
Right.
Like when this is happening for me, I'm like, oh, sweaty palms, here we are again.
It kind of reminds me of that,
that
quote, like turning nervousness to excitement.
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere, I think I even posted this, that nervousness could be explained as excitement without the breath.
Oh, interesting.
So that kind of links what you're talking about now, using breath work to go from nervousness to excitement.
Exactly. Yeah.
There we go, connecting the dots. I love it. Awesome, man. So obviously these can be really powerful tools, and it's so great to be able to have these tools in your toolkit as a mountain biker to be able to work through fear, anxiousness, nerves, whatever it is. It can also be dangerous at times too. Perhaps if we're working through fear but we don't have the skills or we don't have the risk tolerance.
Yes.
I know you mentioned out on our ride as well that you've been working through kind of developing a bit of a tool to help you assess risk. Let's talk about that.
But it's a little bit what we've been just like kind of talking about, huh? Like going through that kind of like some sort of a checklist that like simply can, like just going through that little checklist, I will know, boom, this is a no-go right now. And there's no ego with that. Today, it's not every day that it's a sandy day. There's some days where you're not feeling it. And then for me right now, with what happened to Evan, so like right now, for people who don't know, I have a really close friend of mine, like young rider, 18-year-old, Evan Herzberg, who had a big crash a month ago, just past a month ago now. And he's at the Vancouver General Hospital, broke his C5, severely kind of touched his spinal cord, and he's now paralyzed. That's how he is right now, and it's a very, very tough situation. We still don't know like how far of a recovery he's going to do. Like he's making huge progress. Like I've been going to visit him a few times now, and he's making progress, but it's crazy to see that. So for me, it made me kind of reflect a lot on the risk that we take, and it seems that right now we don't have tools to actually measure the risk.
Right.
And say today the conditions are shit, I'm not going to take this risk. Today my bike is not feeling great, I'm not going to do that. Today I'm feeling tired, I'm not going to do that. And if we have a tool that we can use all the time you ride a double black and beyond, which as we mentioned, like if you crash on some of the stuff that we do, you severely going to hurt yourself.
Totally.
And it's not every day that, even if you've done the move many times, today might not be the day. Today might be a day where I'm feeling a bit off today. Not doing that.
It can be a hard thing to do, can't it, when you're maybe with a crew of riders, your friends, and they're like, hey man, you do this all the time, like you can do this. And it can be hard sometimes to say, yeah, I know, but I don't want to do it today.
Exactly.
Yeah, so circling back there, we'll put the link for the GoFundMe.
Exactly.
So even in the show notes,
there's a link, there's a GoFundMe. So if there's a lot of people who want to help, like I know that when something like that happens in a mountain bike community, the mountain bike community gets together, and then but most of the time people don't really know how to help, and then just like donating a little bit of money really goes a long way, especially in a case like that. So there's a link in the description, and then thank you for helping out.
Absolutely. Yeah, do what you can there.
Yeah.
Circling back, this tool you're talking about, it sounds really cool to me, because I talk to a lot of people here in the industry about mountain biking, about mindset, and that, you know, we do have tools. There's lots of tools.
Yeah.
But we're kind of all using a different scattered assortment of tools.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you're envisioning there is kind of formalizing this into a bit of a checklist.
Yeah.
That we as mountain bikers of all levels can kind of follow and be like, okay, do the stars align? Is today a good day? And it reminds me, like, you know, obviously we do wilderness first aid in the coaching game. We're trained in that. We've got checklists in our backpack. And it's like, okay, you know, what is this person suffering? Is this good? Is this bad? Should we move them? Should we leave them here? Is there a spinal injury?
You go in the backcountry in the winter, there is many tools that can really assess the risk with like avalanche and stuff like that.
Totally.
Something that doesn't exist right now in the mountain bike world, and that's coming out really soon.
Fantastic. Stay tuned. And I'm excited to see that and see how I can utilize that in my own riding as well. We're going to get into a little bit about your racing and your coaching in a second, but I just wanted to kind of finish the mindset talk here. I always like to ask people, do you have any mottos or anything you'll say to yourself while you're riding to, again, get yourself into the zone?
But so yes, I do, and they are different depending on the day. And then how I kind of discovered that is in 2014, when I signed with the Giant Factory Off-Road team. I had an amazing team manager, Joe Stubb. I think he's still team manager of Giant actually right now. And it's funny, with Giant we had all the tools we needed to like really perform at our best. And one thing that we realized already quickly when I started racing as a pro is that it will always take me few stages, like 2 or 3 stages, to get completely fully at my fastest pace. And we're like, kind of weird. And it was like, you know that you can actually tweak your brain and then try to like not have this kind of warm up,
right,
and then perform after. It was like, let's try to have you perform at your best on stage 1. And it was like the first thing and the only thing that we're going to do at first is that we're going to put in your handlebar that's going to say, this is not stage 1. This is not stage 1. Right. This is stage 3.
So getting your brain to perform like this
is stage 3, and I'm going to try to remind myself what was the anger, like what was my mindset entering stage 3. Why would it differ from stage 1? Like what would be the difference? And then enter stage 1 now the same way as I was entering stage 3. Wow. And then what I kind of realized is that stage 1 was always like, oh, I don't know where I am, where I stack and everything, and I will be like top 5 or top 10 or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of in the game. Let's get into the top 5. And then I will boom, make a comeback. So I was like, let's be like stage 3, but on stage 1, and then it worked. Yeah. All of a sudden I was like game on stage 1, and then it really worked. So at this time, I started to like change my knots on my handlebar, and then sometimes it was like, look up and brake early, release your, you know, like little details depending on the race, depending on the day and how I felt on that day and what were the 3 key words that were really resonating with me. And I remember my first podium in EWS during Crankworks. It was actually my team, my mechanic, Colin Bailey. The morning of the race, he looked at me and I was like, Colin, put my words on my handlebar. And then the words were believe, attack, execute.
Believe, attack, execute. I like it.
And during the full day, I was in that mode and got second. First podium ever. And so now I always like, when someone is going to drop in on doing something, I'm always going to try to find like few words that are going to really match the way either you have to execute the move or the way the person has to be.
Totally.
Be like smooth, nice and tall, relax, committed. Like, you know, like depending on the feature and how they have to write it, 3 words are like just enough to switch someone's mind and like putting in their A game.
It's so interesting, isn't it? This is something that I've only really kind of embodied in the last few years as well.
It's amazing.
Always kind of knew intellectually, like, oh yeah, language is important, positive self-talk, whatever. But actually embodying that and doing it in my writing has helped so much. Like power
you need to show up on that and you need to be strong. You need to be relaxed, composed, but strong. And you can be like that and you can be really relaxed and composed, but I'm strong. I want it. Boom.
Yeah. Like a warrior.
Strong attitude.
Yeah. It's we see it the opposite, don't we, in people and in ourselves. If we're telling ourselves these stories like I'm not good at riding on routes or I'm not fast or whatever it is, then we're not, right?
Then you definitely you're not.
If you show up like you're boom, stage 3, let's go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's stage 1 or stage 6, does it?
Like I'm really bad with like organization. I'm not someone that's really organized. That's why I have my wonderful Olivia, my assistant, and she really takes care of all my bookings and everything.
She does a great job.
Otherwise, I would not be doing what I'm doing. And but that's something that I can switch. I can be like, you know what? I'm organized. Yoann Barelli, you're organized. Yeah. And then, but right now, since I'm a little kid, in my head, I'm disorganized. So maybe I can shift that.
So until we change that story, we're telling ourselves we can't change the physical behavior. Today's day 1, man. You got this.
Organized.
I love it.
I'm really organized.
Dude, you've obviously learned a wealth of information about the technical side and the mental side of mountain biking in the last few years.
Yeah.
I always like to ask people this question. If you could put a percentage on it or a figure on it, how many percent or how much percent of mountain biking would you say is mental?
Oh. A lot, actually.
Yeah.
But there's like it goes hand in hand, like the two gets together, like your skills and the mental.
Totally.
So if sometimes your mental is too high and your skills are too low, it's not gonna go well, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's like a bit of a, but sometimes it can be 80% mental, and sometimes less skill, and sometimes But I think the mental is always gonna be pretty important, because that's the last thing you really check in with yourself before doing something a bit gnarly. It's gonna be in your head.
Yeah.
Like if you don't see it, if you don't feel it, if you're not like, ugh, it's not good.
I agree.
So
yeah.
The mental is, I think, really predominant.
Totally. It's like we can have the best bike in the world. We can be really fit and strong. We can have good technical skills coaching, but if our brain's making us feel fearful, we're not going to do the thing.
Yeah. Same. I've seen that with Kate Lawrence. Kate Lawrence is a EWS rider from the Yeti factory, and she's been kind of like watching her ride, and with all the coaching sessions that we've done, her riding has like improved so much, and she's been riding like super strong, like riding her bike like a racer, like a top racer. And then at the beginning, I think beginning of the season this year, she was really struggling to find her pace. And I think she was simply not believing in herself. Right. And then all of a sudden, boom, something clicked. And then boom, top 10. Wow. And she's getting more consistent into the front of the field now, which is amazing. And that was just, her skill level didn't change compared to like a few months ago. She's still that strong rider, but her mental changed. And then now she knows that she's one of the best in the front of the wagon up there.
Yeah, dude. That's
it's
so
cool, huh?
Yeah. Amazing the impact it can have. That's a perfect segue there. Let's talk a little bit about into the Gnar, and let's talk a little bit about the coaching you're doing through that.
Yeah. So Into the Gnar started as a video series in 2019 with my GoPro. It was super cool, and it became my coaching company. And I do a lot of private coaching. We started programs. Nate Spitz work with me now. Freeride program, racing programs. We're kind of doing starting now a little kids program as well, from 10 to 12-year-old. And really our segment is that kind of freeride aspect of things. A little bit of racing because that's my main passion back in the days, and I have a lot of knowledge in that. So we're really doing that as well. But our real segment is like freeride and looking at lines and really boosting the level of riders technically and mentally. That's what I do the best.
It's really cool, dude. I love what you're doing with that. And what was the inspiration going from like a video series with yourself and some of your friends riding gnarly lines? Yeah. What was the inspiration to take that out and offer it to the public as a coaching package as well?
Yeah, I think that for me, since the beginning of my career as a biker, from when I was a little kid to when I was racing at my highest level in Enduro and downhill, when you race, it's only about yourself. Huh? It's so about you. Huh? It's like it's like everything that you do is about you performing at the best you can. So it's so kind of selfish. It's a selfish world in a way, huh? Which is amazing. And I think that's a phase when you are young and you are really hungry for this kind of stuff. I think it's amazing, and do it, and you're gonna learn so much about yourself and others and all this kind of stuff. But at some point for me, it felt like it was not enough, and I've done that so much for yourself for so long that it was time to transition and to give back to people. All the things that I've learned, now give it back to people. And then elevate the riding and just elevate the sport.
It's so cool to see. Yeah, I love what you're doing with it.
And I really, really enjoy it. Sometimes people are like, do you miss racing? And of course I do. But for me, taking someone on a trail and then seeing the progress in in few hours, couple hours is so rewarding, and I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And this is a tough question, but what's the most important chunk of knowledge or skill that you're hoping to impart on your students?
I think maybe that ego side of things, that at some point there is no ego here. There's no and then I see it a lot with sometimes people showing up for some sessions, and they are they see me on whatever, on videos and stuff, and Remy and things, and they probably think that it's okay, let's send, and they actually don't see that it's actually so calculated. We are so calculated with the things we do. And as soon as they start to understand that, and it's not just pure ego and pure adrenaline rush, let's go. We are not just
not out there chugging Red Bull.
Yeah,
splits. That reminds me of your old video. How to be a pro.
Exactly.
Right. For those that haven't seen Yoann's humble beginnings, go back.
And that's how it started.
Yeah.
I really. I was completely crazy at this time.
So for those that haven't seen it, and maybe we'll link this one as well, go back and search the old video, How to be a Pro by Yoann Barelli.
Yes, and that's when I was really trying to make it as a pro. And then that's at some point I was seeing Semenuk's video and really high produced videos and stuff, and I was basically if you don't have the budget to do this kind of stuff, your videos are going to be the same as everybody, and you're not gonna. And I was not as good of a rider as Semenuk and as I am now. So I was like, but maybe because I'm such a goofy man, let's actually boost that,
right?
And not so much the riding, and then just and I like acting. I like to kind of act and just be funny, and then that's what I did. So I started a series of tutorials video that were completely crazy, and I was like, let's not put any limit in that, and just let's be completely crazy in the thing, and it kind of worked out.
I love that. Kind of paired this fun, goofy personality with your riding talent as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what kind of drew me to you as a coach as well. I was like, man, I love this guy's energy. I want to go and learn from you. So,
thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I wanted to ask, what's the biggest obstacle you see in your students, if you had to pick one, the biggest obstacle they face in their riding progression?
So it will be, I think, one of the big mistakes that people do. It's not even a mistake actually, but something that people do and not do these days is that they ride in a very passive position. The bikes have changed so much along the years. The bikes are super long now, huh? Long, slack, heavier. Like at some point, we were 10 years ago, we were trying to have the lightest bikes, and now like an enduro bike is like 16 kilos, 17 kilos easily, huh? With the droppers and all the stuff on it. So these bikes basically they require us to be really active on the bike. If you ride in a really passive position, knees bent a bit forward like that, and then backseat a bit, nothing good is gonna happen from there. But if you are like on top of your bike, legs a bit more straight, like kind of more of a deadlift position on top of your handlebars, not in the back, on top of your handlebars, you are in a way better position to actually move and place your bike from side to side. Your shoulders are moving, your legs are moving, and then all of a sudden you're really riding the trail. It increases your control, it increases your stability, and if you have the feeling that you are in control everywhere, your confidence is going to go up, and then that's the key for progression.
Yeah, man, I love that. And it really clicked for me when we were kind of doing the coaching.
Yeah.
Like, right, we need to become more like a driver, kind of dynamic,
exactly.
moving on
Dynamic.
the bike.
Yeah,
and I see it in your demos. Yeah, really active.
Active.
Yeah, super
Each
interesting
movement,
stuff.
like the way I kind of, the kind of analogy that I have is like, imagine a pump track. If you ride a pump track and you are completely passive and you are not moving, what's going to happen?
Yeah, not much. It's good.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. Huh? If I start from 0 kilometers an hour and I'm like that and I don't move on the pump track, I'm not going to go anywhere. If I enter a pump track full gas and I'm passive and I don't move, I'm going to get bucked everywhere. Okay?
Yeah.
So a pump track is really when my front wheel is cresting that dome at the top up there, I'm going to engage my shoulders forward and I'm going to push arms and legs in the compression. Engage my shoulders forward, push arms and legs in the compression. So imagine that the trails that you ride, it's like a giant pump track. Each movement, you're going to have to move on your bike. You're going to have to follow the terrain. If you're passive, it's not going to go really. And the faster you go and the more you're passive, the more you're going to go for a bit of a rodeo.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. I'm sure we've all felt that.
So active, I think, is the key right now to ride new age kind of geometries. Really active.
That's a great explanation. And I wanted to ask, like, what's next for you? Your career has evolved a whole lot over the years.
Who knows?
Now, you're coaching, you're riding 5 days a week.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned to me, I think in one of our other rides, like, right, I'm going to coach as much as I can while I'm young and able.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself progressing? I guess you're going to stay in mountain biking, I imagine. Where do you see your career progressing, say, like 10, 20 years from now?
10, 20 years from now? Not even 5 years, 10, 20 years. I think I'm gonna the coaching is gonna continue to develop itself and grow in that direction because I really enjoy it, and then let's see where that takes us. There is the Tour de Gnar as well. That's something that has been year 3 now, Tour de Gnar, and then this year was a bit it was definitely crazy. A lot of riders, we had a crowd following us. It was quite insane actually to see like how boom it really took off. Pink Bike was there to cover the thing, and it was really really cool to see actually, and how something really clicked at some point during the tour, where at first a lot of riders, and then I think everybody was trying to show who they were, so it was a bit hectic in the morning, and then it rained for 2 days before, and it was definitely sketchy conditions. But then something clicked, and then all of a sudden the mindset kind of changed. People started to be like more mellow, and like ego was gone,
right?
And it was really amazing. So everybody who did the tour this year, I think, really felt something that they probably never really felt before, like something where there was like a lot of support and like a community kind of events where everybody really support each other and encourage each other. So Tour de Gnar is gonna go further. That's where I want to take it. I really want to make it like some sort of an official event, and I'm gonna grow that. So let's see where it goes.
Exciting times.
But I want to pursue that thing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where you take it.
Let's see. So far there's different options, different ideas, but we are still at ground zero.
So positioning yourself as, well, you're already doing it, like an event facilitator.
But right now it's not an event, huh? It's very an underground, it's a ride.
Yep.
We're going for a ride with some friends. We're going for a gnarly ride.
Are you
for a full day
stepping up as some kind of leader and, talking people through like the vibe and, leave your ego at home and these kinds of things already?
Definitely. That was the first message that we had in the morning with everybody. It was that kind of safety message with we talked about the ego. It's going to show probably in the movie as well, and we really, that was the first thing we said in the morning.
I love it.
Yeah. No ego. If you don't feel something, we don't do it.
So send it safely.
Send it safely. That's my
fantastic. Wow.
That should be actually my motto.
You can put that on your handlebars if you like.
Safely. That's what I say to people actually when I see them and we chat sometimes on the trail. It's like, send it safely.
Yeah, wise words. Wise words. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation.
Beautiful.
I've learned so much just sitting here talking to you, so thank you. As we start to wrap up here, I wanted to just give you the opportunity. Is there any other sponsors or industry partners you wanted to mention? You've got a fantastic New Jersey.
All these people here, look at that. Da Vinci, Industry Line, North Shore Billet, Ride Wrap, SDG, TRP, EXT, ABUS. We have here Descent Lab Socks. We have also right here Cost Optic. Do you know Cost Optic?
These are a cool new brand, right? From Whistler here. Sustainable, is
local brand, made almost 100% out of recycled plastics, everything. Local brand from Whistler. The product is not made in Whistler, of course. When they grow, they will be able to maybe buy machines here and molds and stuff like that, that's the direction they want to take. But really cool little company right here.
Mm.
And look at this beast right here.
Yeah, some really cool brands there supporting you. It's fantastic to see, and I love the local theme there.
And of course NF.
NF as well. Yeah, best pants in the business, right?
Best plants and jerseys and all the things. Huh?
Fantastic, dude. One last question here as we wind up. Who do you look up to in the mountain biking world?
Many people actually. It depends.
Come on, man, you got to give me an answer.
I'd say that for me, when I think about someone that I really look up to, that I admire, and that I really support, is my buddy Loic Bruni.
Okay.
Loic Bruni, we kind of grew up. He's younger than me, but when I was racing in the 2005 to 2010-12 in downhill, he was just starting his debut. He was a little grom, and who would have known? Who would have known that Loic would become such a beast and such a incredible racer?
It's inspiring.
Incredible racer. He's the definition of a racer. That it's Loic. And how to put on a show and with the fans and to be on his A game when it's actually the moment to be on the A game. World Championship, that's his jam.
It's incredibly talented.
And yeah.
Must have been cool to see that full journey from humble beginnings going up to where he is now.
It's super cool. And then same with Loris Verger. I think that my French route, Amaury Pierron, I think the crew of Frenchies that are performing at the top, these are the people that I really support. Finnives as well. There's so many people actually. In the mountain bike world, so many people. What's his name? Tom Van Steenbergen.
Yep.
A beast as well.
Absolutely.
The guy just crashed so many times and broke himself, and is always back at the strongest that he's ever been. It's insane. The commitment. Every people that are really pushing the limit and they are really pushing themselves and to be at the point, at the sharp edge of their sport. Their sport is it's incredible. It's really, the commitment is insane.
Yeah, man.
JC, Richie, there's so many really rad athletes to follow these days.
So much inspiration in the mountain biking world.
Exactly.
And we've talked about all kinds of different things here. What's the biggest takeaway that you hope listeners remember from this conversation?
Do things for the right reasons, and then don't do things for ego based in a way, because that's the perfect recipe for at some point it's not going to work out. And have fun, be safe, send it safely.
Wise words there. Where can people find you, follow along with your adventures, and check out your coaching online?
On Instagram, you can follow me at Yoann Barelli. On YouTube, the same. YouTube, I'm not so much consistent, but that's because I was not really organized. Now I'm super organized, so I'm going to be more consistent on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then my coaching website, intothenard.com, and then you can book sessions with me, with Nate, and then Jake, maybe one day. So.
Maybe one day. Fantastic, dude. Thanks so much for this.
Beautiful.
It's been fantastic. Let's go send it.
Let's go send it. Thank you
Safely.
for listening. Thank you for watching. And let's go.
Right on, my man. Until next time. What's up, guys? Just one more thing before you hit the trails. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to subscribe and don't be a stranger. I'd love to hear from you about any topics or any particular episodes that you enjoyed, and even about any guests that you'd like to hear me have on the show in the future. You can find me on Instagram at the_mind_mountain. This podcast, mountain biking, and mindset are all things that are very close to my heart, so I feel super grateful to be able to share these conversations with you. So much love to you all for taking the time to listen. I'll see you next time.